Welcome to the podcast where we help women stop repeating the patterns, keeping them stuck at the same level so higher income months become their new normal. Your income plateau has nothing to do with your strategy. It's biological. Your nervous system is programmed to keep you at your current income level. And every time you try to break through, it pulls you back down. And this is not a mindset thing. It's your body's survival mechanism treating wealth like a threat. And in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you the 3-step process to rewire this so you can double your income in the next 90 days without working harder or burning out. Because you can have the best offer, the best positioning and messaging, the best strategy in the world. But if your nervous system isn't wired to hold more, it will sabotage you every single time. So if you've been stuck at the same income level for greater than 90 days, posting, launching, showing up, and nothing's moving, this is why. So let's get into it. So I caught up with a friend last week and I mentioned Joe Dispenza in passing, and she said, "Oh, I know of Joe. I studied with him." So of course that took us down a rabbit hole, and we talked for hours about his work and how your body creates your reality based upon your energy. And we also talked a lot about the emotion side of it. And it reminded me just how important this work really is, because many hear this information and they think, yeah, that's great. This is really interesting. But then they go straight back to thinking and operating the same way, and then wonder why nothing changes in their life or their business. So let me explain what's actually happening when you hit an income plateau. It's called the thermostat effect. And just like a heater kicks in when it gets too cold, your nervous system kicks in when you start making too much money. It creates procrastination, overthinking, self-sabotage. And they're cooling mechanisms because your nervous system is bringing you back to your safe income level, the one your body has been conditioned to believe is normal for you. So you can have the best strategy in the world, the best offer, but if your nervous system isn't wired to hold more, it will find a way to bring you back down. And that's the biological block that's keeping you stuck. Now, here's the thing most people don't understand. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. So if you're taking the actions in your business from stress, lack, urgency, that's the energy that's shaping your results. And there's a massive difference between urgent action and certain action. Urgent action comes from lack. It's frantic. It's like a contraction energy. And it's, I need this to work or I'm screwed. Certain action comes from your future identity. It's grounded. It's, I already know this is working. Your audience feels your energy before they read your words. Your body communicates before your mouth does. And if you're operating from stress, lack, or survival, that's what people are buying into. It's not your offer, it's your energy. So the real question isn't what do I need to do differently? It's who do I need to become? Because the version of you that handles 10, 30, 40, 50, 100K months, she doesn't rush. She doesn't freak out when there's an unsubscribe, doesn't freak out when there's a cancellation or second guess every post that doesn't get engagement. She operates from certainty. And that's the identity shift that changes everything. Now, here's what happens when you've been operating from stress too long. At first, stress feels like a reaction to what's happening around you. But after living it long enough, your body starts expecting stress before anything has gone wrong. That's when survival mode stops being a moment and starts becoming the way that you live. So what happens when you constantly think about worst case scenarios is that your nervous system doesn't know the difference between something that's actually happening right now and you repeatedly stressing about it in your mind. So when you think, what if all this fails? What if I lose everything? What if I'm not safe? What if nothing works out? The body produces the chemistry of that future in the present moment. Your stress hormones increase, the cortisol and adrenaline. The nervous system shifts into survival mode. And the brain is no longer creating, it is protecting you. And this is what survival emotions do. They narrow your attention. So when your nervous system lives in survival, you stop seeing possibilities and start focusing on pressure, problems, and what could go wrong. Your creativity, intuition, clarity, and long-term thinking all starts to decrease, and you start reacting instead of responding. Because when you're living in survival, emotionally, you struggle to see the opportunities and what is the right next step for you. You start to become exhausted and emotionally depleted, and you start to lose trust in yourself. So even if you work hard, your nervous system is broadcasting something is wrong. There is not enough and I'm unsafe. And people feel that energy. Now, strategy does matter, but so does the emotional state that you're building your business from. Stress affects how you show up every day. So if you've been stuck at that same income, this is why. Your nervous system is keeping you there. So here is the 3-step process to remove those hidden blocks and double your income in the next 90 days. Step 1 is the audit. Just don't ask yourself what you think about money. Ask yourself how you feel on a Tuesday at 2 p.m. when you check your bank account. Is it panic, fear, relief, scarcity? That feeling, that's your wealth ceiling, because your income will always reflect the emotional state your body believes is safe. So if your nervous system feels stress, pressure, or unsafe at 10K months, it's going to keep unconsciously pulling you back there. But if your body starts to feel calm, safe, and certain, and regulated at that level, expansion becomes so much easier to hold. And this is the most important part, because you need to start observing your patterns honestly. How do you wake up in the morning? What are the first thoughts running through your mind? What emotions are you feeling throughout the day? How do you react when sales are slow or engagement drops or something feels uncertain? What are you thinking about before you fall asleep? Do you wake up at 3 a.m. worrying about money or clients in your business, whether it's all going to work out? Because most people don't realize they're rehearsing stress and survival emotionally every single day. So this audit is about becoming brutally honest about the emotional state that you're actually in, not the one you think you should be. Step 2, who is the version of you that holds your next level, whether that be 10K, 30K, 50, 100K months? What does she think about when she wakes up in the morning? How does she move through her day? How does she respond when things feel uncertain? What does she focus on? What energy is she bringing into her business every single day? Does she wake up immediately stressed about money? Is she checking her Stripe before getting out of bed? Does she spend all day overthinking and panicking and obsessing over every sale? Does she lie awake at 3 a.m. worrying it's all going to fall apart? No, she doesn't. She trusts herself. She trusts the process. She moves with certainty. She knows one slow day doesn't mean failure, and she continues to do the actions that she knows will move the business forward. She doesn't emotionally spiral every time the business feels quiet. And this isn't about pretending. It's not about bypassing reality or faking it. It's about teaching your nervous system what safety at that level feels like, because your body responds to the thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that you repeat most often. So when you start thinking, feeling, and operating like the version of you who already holds that level of income, your body starts believing it's safe to be there. When the body feels safe, you stop sabotaging, you stop reacting from fear, and when things feel uncertain. And that's when your behavior starts to change, and that's when your results start changing as well. And so the step 3 is the 90-day work. It's about interrupting and rewiring the old self in real time. So here's what that looks like. You open up your banking app and instantly feel that knot in your stomach, that tightness in your chest. Maybe less money came in than you expected. Maybe you paid a bill and it was a lot larger than you anticipated. And immediately you start to panic. And that's the pattern. That is your nervous system saying this isn't safe. And in that moment, you have a choice. You can react the way you always have, spiral, overthink, stress, assume something's wrong, that you're missing something. And every time you react that way, you reinforce the same emotional state your body has been living in for years. Or you can interrupt the pattern, and that's the rewire. It's about catching yourself in those moments and consciously choosing a different response. It's not about pretending everything is fine or bypassing reality. This is also not positive thinking. This is pattern interruption in real time, because change doesn't come from one breakthrough moment or one powerful meditation. It comes from repeated exposure to a new emotional state. The nervous system learns through repetition. And just like stress became familiar through years of fear, urgency, pressure, and lack, safety, trust, and calm also become familiar through repetition, because your body is constantly learning what emotions feel normal, what chemistry feels familiar, what state to automatically return to. So if you spent years emotionally rehearsing stress and scarcity and survival, your body adapts to that chemistry and it becomes your baseline. That's why so many people feel uncomfortable when things are calm. That because the body has become more familiar with stress than peace. So when you start practicing coherence daily, you start teaching your nervous system something new. You start teaching it safety, that you're not in danger. That one quiet week doesn't mean you're failing. That one slow offer that you've just put out doesn't mean everything is falling apart, because a body that doesn't feel safe will always struggle to consistently create, grow, and hold more. Then comes coherence. Instead of constantly operating from pressure, chaos, and survival, your mind and body start working together. You start to think more clearly, make better decisions, trust yourself. And over time, your body learns new emotions of trust and gratitude and enough and calmness. So then instead of waking up stressed, automatically your nervous system starts slowly creating a new emotional baseline. Eventually, that creativity comes back. Enough feels more familiar than lack. Business feels lighter, and you stop expecting everything to go wrong. And stress stops running your life. And when you do this consistently for 90 days, your nervous system recalibrates. It starts believing that the new income level is safe to hold. And that's when your business starts growing without the burnout and the constant second guessing. So here's what I want you to understand. It doesn't have to take a long time. It just takes a total shift. Your business will only grow to the level your body feels safe enough to hold. And if you've been stuck at that same income plateau, no matter how hard you work, this is why. Here's what I want you to ask yourself. What energy am I showing up from? Not what you think you should feel, but what you actually feel. Because that's the signal that you're broadcasting, and that's the result that you're getting. Now, if you're ready to remove these hidden blocks and hold the income you've been working towards, this is where I can help you. That's why I created the Higher Months Mastermind. I see the patterns keeping you stuck in real time and help you rewire them so your business can grow without the burnout or constant second guessing. I have a 100% success rate identifying what's blocking higher months in under 7 minutes, which saves you so much time and frustration. If you're done with business feeling hard, this is where that changes. The link is in the show notes. Your business can only grow to the level your body feels safe enough to hold. And no one changes until they change their energy. And that is the work. And I'll see you next episode.